really, I feel honored. I also want to thank Steve for bringing us over here, and Tomica, the secretary of our Croatian plan, for also making this happening, because there will be another leg of this, so to speak, event which will happen in Croatia in about a week from now. Okay, I'm going to read in English to make it easy on everybody, and then just read one small poem in Croatian so you get some kind of a feel for this language. Now this one, I read already London, but doesn't matter. If anyone likes Jeremy Clarkson, he may leave the room, because I'm going to say some bad things about that guy. It's called Madiba in Top Gear. Have you ever had a lap dance? Roared from the doorway the former traveling salesman of plush Paddington bears, Mr. Jeremy Clarkson, nowadays a slightly arrogant and supposedly humorous British TV star. The host of an automobile show viewed devotedly all across Europe. Upon hearing that, Nelson Mandela, whose life and work need no discussion here, simply raised his eyebrows gently and directed his gaze towards the ceiling fan, as if the answer to such an unexpected and ludicrous question could drop down from somewhere above. Madiba, you don't have to answer that, the ever-considerate and attentive Zelda quickly jumped in. But in his thoughts he was already racing back to Robben Island during that fatal 1964, trying to remember if back then anyone around him had been shaking their ass, except maybe when stung by apartheid's eel-like baton, slippery and hard, that always unmistakably found its way to a piece of black flesh classified as Class D and locked in an 8x7 foot cell. Or maybe later in 1982, in that comfy maximum security facility Portsmouth, where those upgraded into a higher, lighter category were allowed to receive and send as many as 52 letters a year. No, he could not remember if anyone had merrily wriggled his behind, unless plagued by a case of bloody dysentery or tortured by a sneaky pubic crab or two. But maybe later in 1988, somebody had done it at that quite permissible institution of Victor Verster, but Nelson had already been aware of anything then, as he was recovering from a mean case of TBC. You don't have to answer that, Madiba, repeated Miss Lagrange, and Nelson just smiled as if watching a kid walking towards him with a rare specimen of turtle in his hand. No, he finally replied succinctly, so that the conversation might continue with the expected civility and finesse. Yet at the end of the meeting, he looked Clarkson in the eye and asked, "Have you ever been on the moon, Jeremy?" For it is only from there, perhaps, that the dry British humor could hit the even drier heart of Black Africa in the right place. Thank you. This was translated by my wife, who never wants to get any credit, but I nevertheless always mention her, Maida Bakoche. She's Canadian, by the way. And this one is going back to the 90s to see how it works. It's called The Cane. I wonder whether I ever have a cane that blind men, old men, gentlemen use. A cane I can test the ice with like Yates, or tap on the sidewalk, scare bugs and pigeons when the disquieted times come, those gaunt old downhill years. I need that cane, something of a cane of rosewood or some other wood, a cane of pastimes, and even an exclamation cane, which is indeed a clothespin of a cane joining the earth to a hand, their interlocking pair of pliers, where you loved me once. This was translated by my friend Stephen Dickey, professor at the University of Kansas. And now I'm going to read the piece in Croatian, which is called Poetry in Small Language. And because it's a small language, it's a small piece. A short piece. Poezija o malom jeziku. This was written in Cork in Ireland. Poezija o malom jeziku je kao zvono u zabačenom selu što tuče muklo s večeri kroz memnu provincije, samozaboravno i poprilično samodovoljno. Reklo bi se da nije tih par kuštravih ovaca skutrenih pred pljusak u oboru ispred kamene pojate što malo utrznu bjelkastim glavama da ti daju do znanja da bez obzira na mediji poruka uvijek stiže na odredište. Thank you very much.